presentation.
I think it's
Just all of us, anybody wants to finish?
just chime in.
My son plays football. When I saw that, I thought, oh, why don't we start at 6? Because it seemed like that would be a lot, you know, what to talk about.
Yeah.
No, it'll be 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah. I
just figured that.
Yeah.
Hi, Emily.
Douglas, how are you?
I rented my apartment, but I have to get rid of part of that. It's used reading for me, because I don't know how to do it.
You've been waiting a year and a half for this. Yes, yes. How'd you meet it? Word of mouth or?
Word of mouth.
It's the best advertising.
Well,
Yes.
Yep, sure will.
I thought you wouldn't get. You wouldn't get here. I know you count the hours.
I still can't stop laughing when Doug makes the totally sarcastic comment and Gordon's like,
Well,
yeah, Gordon's. We are crying, laughing, we're like, oh God. What did I do now?
oh no, as one of them said, it's the hardest.
Yeah, he not at all. He was like, oh, it's
And that brings so much more.
That's right.
I can see Doug. And I can see.
Five people. Okay. 5 of us. All over the state. You people.
Hey,
You
know,
majority of them.
well, missions have a Facebook page. They post on a bunch of.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, they posted it.
They had, I'm gonna look.
And they, some of them weren't even.
And they posted it on everything.
They
That's how others straighten out the sake tasting party.
There really
Wow.
is link to Gmail drives.
I was thinking you guys. Yeah.
Embarrassed it's over.
Yeah.
Five or more.
All right, it is now 6 o'clock, so we will begin our work study session for November 6th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Present.
Commissioner Halt,
Present.
Commissioner Roberts. Not present, Commissioner Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Strayer,
Present.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Here, present.
Commissioner Gauss,
Present.
all commission members present with the exception of Commissioner Roberts.
At this time, I will turn it over to our city administrator, Greg Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. I will note that Commissioner Roberts told me that her mother had passed away up north and the reasons for her absence tonight. Our first item tonight is a presentation by our Smith Group consultants who've been working on, among other things, the concept for re-envisioning Winter Street as it traverses downtown from Maple to Church and creating a more downtown-like streetscape there. And they have a presentation to give you to bring you up to speed on that this evening, which will also be in support of our intended TAP grant application related to that project as well. So Bob or Allison, I don't know who's going to take it, but the floor is yours, and you should be able to share your screens.
Okay, we're going to give it a try. So good evening, commissioners. My name is Bob Doyle, and with me tonight is Allison Bishop, who's our project manager. And we recognize you have a full agenda and a meeting after this, so we don't want to spend a ton of time, but we want to give you an update on recent plans that are being developed for the Winter Street area and take any questions you might have as we go through it. So I'm not going to be able to see if somebody raises their hand, so I'll count on Allison to stop me as I go through it. So we're going to do a quick project overview, tell you what this is about. We're going to talk about attributes of the site and then go through the concept design. So our project area
We're not
is,
seeing your screen, Bob.
oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Hold on, I thought we had that covered. Okay, how about now?
Yep, there it is.
Yes.
Okay. You know, and you hit a certain age and wisdom comes with that, but the ability to manage technology is not part of that. So let me go. So our project area is here on the western edge of downtown. This dark line here is the Kiwanis Trail. And Main Street is here in this dark band. So a couple of things we've been looking to do in this area. One is to improve connectivity of the region and connect downtown to the trail. Second is to extend the pedestrian-oriented character that is downtown and is very lovely down to the riverfront, and to have that act as a catalyst for additional private development. So on these graphics, it's just so you don't get too thrown off and disoriented, north is to the right. So this is Main Street here as it goes through downtown, and this is Maumee. So as we've looked at the project area, we've boiled it down into 3 key components of the plan. The first is to create a downtown bike loop, which would connect from the Kiwanis up Maumee. You already have bike lanes on Maumee, down Winter Street, and then back up Maple, if you will, to reconnect with that. And what we're seeing in many communities is that, you know, when you improve connectivity for bicyclists and encourage them to visit your downtown, it helps spur economic development. Second component is improve streetscapes along Winter Street, starting at Maple, probably over to Church Street here. It'll be, you know, a fairly urban streetscape, and then west or south of that would be kind of tapering down to a more residential character. And then third is streetscape improvements along Front and Main, which we'll talk about in a little more detail, to discourage some of the use of Winter Street as a downtown bypass. So whenever we start a planning project, we tend to step back and look at what are the documents that exist within a community that help provide some guidance for what the community is after. And looking at your 2021 comprehensive plan, it specifically lists Winter Street between Front and Main to, you know, downgrade that from a minor arterial to a collector so that it better functions as part of the walkable downtown. So what we're trying to achieve is consistent with that. It's also consistent with complete streets approach, which is supported by the comprehensive plan, and complete streets has a list of, you know, guiding principles, and they're here. And so this isn't to say we should stop and read this, but to let you know that what we're proposing is consistent with the complete streets program and with what is already happening or being supported by your comprehensive plan. And then next we took a look at the Downtown Adrian strategic plan, and the strategic plan noted several things that would be encouraged within the DDA district, including streetscape improvements, placemaking, and connecting to neighborhoods. We've also looked at the downtown parking study and noted that the Winter Street area is shown as an area that is has plentiful parking, which is a good thing. And we want to take a look at that and see how that fits in with the overall goals of the project. So second thing where we want to talk a little bit about is bike facilities and assessment of the street. And right now you have two primary bike facilities within the project area. One is at Maumee, has a dedicated bike lane that stops right at Winter Street. And then of course you have the incredible Kiwanis Trail, which is a regional asset. We took a look at your existing and planned non-motorized routes that have been documented over the last half a dozen years. And they include, this dashed blue line, which is proposed bike lanes. So this is on Maple, bike lanes on Maumee, through here, north-south through downtown, as well as on Winter Street. And then connecting up into downtown on Washburn. So we are proposing that a good first step, or perhaps a second step, since you've already got the lane on Maumee, is to create this loop, and it fits within your overall plan for bike facilities, and makes a logical single project, if you will. The site itself, if we look at Maumee, Winter, and Maple, there are a number of different right-of-way widths, so it varies between 60 feet in spaces, which are this yellow, 66 feet in the orange, and then 80 feet. And we look at street width so that we understand the capacity of the street to carry a mix of users, as the complete street approach would have us do. There are very few trees in the right of way currently. There's a mix of different land uses and setbacks, and there's a lot of different curb cuts. If we look specifically at Winter Street, we see those same things. And we also see, if we look at it from a streetscape improvement standpoint, you look close, it doesn't have a lot of the improvements that you have down on Maumee or Main Street and other places downtown. If we look along in front of the courthouse at Front and Main, the designated right turn lane here is really kind of an artifact of when Winter Street was actually the bypass or designated truck route in downtown. It has a very wide turning radius and its own dedicated lane. And it's also a very wide road, 4 lanes wide. We also like to look at where parking is within the downtown area, which are these hatched pink and gray boxes. We look at land uses. We look at where the buildings are fronting. And then we look at different pieces of a design toolkit, which might include making sure people are comfortable, that there's accessibility, that the design focuses on people and promoting health and wellness, that it's sustainable, that you're getting different forms of mobility, and that it's going to last. So I'm going to keep moving here for purposes of brevity. When we talk about a complete street, we're talking about all of the people who use the street, including pedestrians, vehicles, service vehicles, bike riders, and walkers. And we're looking at a whole range of different improvements, making sure we have parking where appropriate, where we have bike lanes where appropriate, bus stops where they're appropriate, and nice wide sidewalks that support commerce and outdoor dining and retailing on the street. So these are some of the things we look at, how wide are the lanes? How wide are the sidewalks compared to standards for outdoor dining? Where do we have the possibility for bump outs, which, we have downtown Adrian has taken advantage of, where crosswalks in need of improvement. And then in terms of bike facilities, we're looking at a whole range of like, what is the appropriate bike facility for any given project, whether it's mingling bikes with traffic, having separate lanes, such as here, having a small buffer between them, or having them, separated by curbs, as in this case, which we would call a separated bikeway. And what we have seen in our work throughout Michigan and actually throughout the Midwest is that when you separate a bike lane from the potential conflicts with traffic, that the ridership increases significantly because it's going to appeal to a broader range of riders. So when we're looking at how this applies to creating a loop in downtown Adrian, we're recommending that you look at a separated bikeway. So you have traffic lanes, you have wider sidewalks than you currently have on Winter Street, and then you also have a two-way bike facility or bikeway. And just skip ahead a little bit. This is, if you've been to Ann Arbor in the last couple of years, these are photos of projects we've done in downtown Ann Arbor where we have created these separated bikeways. So you're increase the perception of safety, you increase the range of people who will use it, and it actually makes the drivers more comfortable too, because they're not worried about having a bicyclist, vary from their lane and come back and get in your way. So on Winter Street, there's plenty of room to do a standard bikeway. On Maumee Street, particularly in this block, as we get closer to downtown, there is room for a bikeway and maintaining the left-hand turn lane. As we get closer to Church Street, that gets a little tight, but at least for this area immediately west of Winter Street, it works. And then we would also look, for instance, on Maple Street at if we can get the island big enough, can we actually get some landscape and planting in it? So we've seen those photos. So that's kind of the bikeway element. The streetscape element of it, you guys are well versed in, because you have a very lovely downtown with a great streetscape. And it is a lesson into itself on how to create a nice character downtown. You've got wonderful brick and lighting and landscape. You've got widened sidewalks. You've got good safe corners and crosswalks that use bump outs to reduce the crossing width for pedestrians. And it's a great example. So really what we'd be looking at is just extending that kind of character down onto Winter Street, and then if we can, perhaps on the Maumee as well, on that block heading down towards the bridge. So at Front Street, as I said, there's kind of an interesting opportunity there, because this is really the old truck route through downtown. And what we're observing, and which is confirmed, of course, by what we're hearing from city staff and residents, is that you get cars going at a fairly high clip around the corner here, because it's a huge turning radius. It's really designed so that you can take that corner at 30 miles an hour. So we're looking at tightening up that radius, and then losing a lane and picking up parking. So if we put the bikeway on Winter Street, we lose some parking spaces. There are a couple ways we could mitigate that. One is we can pick up some parking here on Front Street, and also we can look at picking up some parking in the parking lot on the east side of Winter. In any case, you see how we've tightened this radius up. Obviously, it's still going to function for any kind of service truck that needs to get around there. It's just that you have to actually take that corner at a normal downtown speed. So some next steps that we're looking at, we have started a online survey, which we hope to encourage people to take. And it's connected to the city website, I believe. And it also, here's a QR code if you don't find those too frustrating. So we're here today, not necessarily for your approval, but for answering any questions. We'll be looking for your support. And then when we come back in December, we will have a grant application prepared to the Michigan Department of Transportation that would help pay for these improvements. And TAP grant, as you see listed here, is Transportation Alternatives Program. So it looks to fund two big components of what this project is doing. The first being bicycle travel facilities, and the second being pedestrian safety improvements. And so this project is actually a very good match for this program. It's a program that typically pays between 60 and 70% of all the costs of construction. We met with MDOT, both the people who process the grants and with the local transportation service center. And those folks are very supportive of this grant application and of the project. So we're hoping to get your support when we come back in December, and then in February, make that grant application. And July, that funding decision is announced. Then we would move into engineering and final design so that this could be constructed in the summer of 2025. So with that, I'm gonna stop sharing. I can always jump back and look at the plans if you have any questions, but we're happy to answer any questions or any thoughts you have.
Does it remove all of the on-street parking on that section of Winter then?
Yeah, there are 15 parking spaces on Winter right now. They're on the east side of the road, just north of Maumee.
So one of the things that we're also considering in conjunction with this project, which Bob didn't get into, is eliminating U Park along there, which we hope will make up, or at least probably more than make up for any on-street parking.
Turning U Park into a parking lot, basically.
I mean, the only time I see it highly utilized is First Fridays or when downtown's closed off, you'll see a lot of on-street parking on Winter right there, but park parking, that helps.
Yeah, as long as you don't have to pay for it, people prefer to park in the parking lot.
There's also 8 spaces proposed along Front Street. So there's I guess a net loss of 7.
If we do the separated bike lanes along Maumee, will we on-street parking on Maumee Street?
We're not proposing on Maumee.
You're not proposing Maumee at all?
No.
Okay. I misunderstood.
Winter.
No.
and-
No, well, we'd actually, on Maumee, we'd take the bike lanes that are there and consolidate them into a two-way bikeway, but we wouldn't be removing any parking.
Okay, so you're not gonna separate with some kind of boundary, I mean,
That's still up for discussion, you know, when we have to get a site survey, so we understand. And what we've done to date is taken a tape measure out and then, you know, kind of checked for feasibility. But as we get further into the design, we'll get a topographic survey and be able to assess that.
thank you.
Mhm.
Commissioners, other questions for? you? Mayor, I don't know what you think, but because this is part of our public engagement for the project, I guess I would invite audience members, if they have questions for the design team, to ask those at this time now. Do that in the room first. If anyone has a question for the folks. All right, not anybody online have a question for the Method folks? Okay, well, thanks, Bob and Al.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you bet. Thank you for your time, and we'll be getting back to you soon.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
I encourage you to take our survey. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, Mayor, I will turn it back to you, because our second item is report on Sister City visit, or you and the other commissioners who got to visit Moriyama. Go ahead and take it away.
Well, we were given some pictures from Moriyama that I gave to Michelle to share. So maybe we'll just walk through that, and then anybody that would like to say that, you know, the trip was it was very exciting. Moriyama just constructed a brand new city hall. It is huge. We were very impressed by it, but their city chambers and everything is there. So this picture right here is the tree that was planted by Jim Berryman, and so you know Comstock Park, and we have the Christmas tree. So they have a Christmas tree there. It's not doing the best. It's a little. We were like, oh, this is. But I mean, it's just their climate, and I mean, it actually is pretty tall, and it started out really small, and we're actually wearing there. That is the brand new mayor of Moriyama, Mayor Morinaka, that is all the way on the right there. And we are actually wearing necklaces that were made for us by a kindergarten class there in Moriyama. The school is actually directly in front of this tree. So we went to the school and we came out. We couldn't take any pictures there or have those out for the public because we were in a school, but they gave us necklaces. We walked out and we got to come here to the tree.
I would like to point out how many necklaces Doug has on.
I know he has the most. They love Doug.
They love Doug.
Yeah, but all the kids were like.
I want to step forward with that information. More children.
Michelle, you can go on. Yep. And then this was like our opening night. We had already been in Moriyama for like a day, but we did spend a day with our host family. And that evening, this is when they had like the welcome ceremony for us. And so we are there with both Mayor Morinaka and their vice mayor all the way on the left, Cowboy. I don't even really know his real name because he only wants to call him Cowboy. He has actually been to the United States many times. He is a professional bull rider, but he is their vice mayor.
Oh, my God.
So, funny story, but so he would only let us call him Cowboy. So I mean, I have his card, but I don't even know what his real name is. But that was, the opening there, in Moriyama, even though we had already been there that day, but that was that evening. It was a beautiful presentation, traditional harpsichord, ceremony for us. Next one, yep. Okay, this is right when we got to Moriyama. We got there
We won't tell the funny story, Gordon, don't worry.
I hear somebody has pictures.
There are photos.
So we did not know this was gonna happen. This was all surprise. We arrived in Moriama, got off the bus to this wonderful group that was all cheering us on, and they said, you're gonna wear kimonos. And so they dressed us, and Kelly and I have a little bit longer hair, so they asked if they could do our hair in the traditional, and it was a traditional tea ceremony, which there is another picture on here from there because there's a little bit more to that. I'm gonna show you in a minute when we get to that one.
They just ate a 5-course meal. and
Yes,
bounced
yes.
Into kimonos.
Yes, and those have like 7 courses. The ladies,
Yeah.
we are like tied in there like 7 times. It's a little.
The
it's a little-
gentleman is tied in, if I can interject, the gentleman is tied in a different way.
That's true.
Those 4 ladies were very, very thorough in their ability to strip us down to our socks and dress us in such a wonderful way. They were so wonderful. Professionals. They were professionals.
Yeah, but some were dressed better than others.
Yeah. Hold your peace.
Michelle, do you see the picture that we're still in the kimonos and we're sitting there? I know they probably come in order. Sorry about that. No, might go the other way. I think you might have passed it. Unless I didn't send it, I thought I did. I might not have. I was having internet issues at my job today from the wind. Okay, so I guess I don't have it. But anyways, we got to meet the students that came here while we were gone. They didn't leave before we literally just were like there at mere hours with them right before they came here. So they came to the traditional tea ceremony and joined us in the traditional tea ceremony. Took some pictures, but they had to go home and finish packing and go to sleep because they were flying here like a few hours later. So a fun little story to that is we arrived back here and we were doing the Halloween event downtown, and literally had just flown in and came downtown, and lo and behold, I saw the director of the students that I'd already just seen in Japan, and he was on the street in Adrian at the Halloween event. The students weren't there. He said one had been and left, but so it was kind of fun. Got to meet him in Japan, and I got to meet him in Adrian. But they at this kimono ceremony, they took us to the temple grounds that we were at, and took a picture, and we are there pictured with different Moriama delegates. Okay. And this is at the closing, and yes, you can tell we're all wearing socks because we are on the mats that you cannot. We were in a traditional Japanese restaurant. We cannot wear shoes. So if you think our shoes look funny, that's why, because we're wearing socks with slippers. But these were our host families plus Mayor Morinaka and Vice Mayor Cowboy. Yep. And they presented us, and it should be arriving. We did not want to bring it back here for you to break it. They gave us a beautiful, for the city of Adrian, a beautiful shell there. That they said, you're going to go to where we culture pearls. They actually culture pearls right in Moriama in the bay. They said, you're going to go out, you're going to open these clams, you're going to find pearls. And then each one of you gets to pick a pearl that will get placed into there. So that morning we had gone and gotten the pearls. We all picked out a pearl we wanted placed in there, and they had set them in there and presented it to us that evening. So that will be arriving to City Hall whenever it arrives through the mail. But it was a very beautiful, just very meaningful, because we actually got to go out and culture those. And this is us at a one of their plastic factories that they are taking plastic they are bottling. They're doing it for Coca-Cola, but they are not actually making the bottles. They're making the shrink wrap that goes onto the bottles, and their goal within 2 years is to be 100% zero waste. So they're trying to reuse the waste that they get off of the process and reuse that, and to be 100% sustainable like that. And it was very interesting and a very interesting process. But we couldn't take pictures in there or anything, so it's the only picture we could do because they don't want their secrets out. And here we are on our last day. We had just left Moriama, and that is the governor sitting between Commissioner Castleberry and myself.
the governor of Shiga. So Michigan it was our Michigan Goodwill. And so Shiga and Michigan and Governor Whitmer had not been there too long ago. And so this is their governor who came to give a presentation and then took a picture with us. And then we are there with some of our host family and some of our translators that came along as well. And the happy coats that we were wearing, all of the Michigan Shiga representatives were given those to wear. Then they say Michigan Shiga Sister State on them, and we wore them at that ceremony. And this is the whole group from Michigan. I know it's kind of a small picture, but we are all at a Buddhist temple there, and that was the entire group that went from the state of Michigan. I think actually 2 people might not have been there yet because a couple people came late, but we ended up with, I think, with 38 people when we were doing the count, maybe 37 that came. Marquette sent their vice mayor, a council member, and the head of Goodwill for their whole area. Traverse City sent representatives, Lansing, Ann Arbor, Marshall, Grand Rapids, Detroit. So we had them from all over the state of Michigan. So that's all the pictures and just kind of a synopsis, but I know.
So something to note in that picture, if you see the woman in the yellow, she is the first Buddhist priestess in Japan. And it's one of the oldest shrines in Japan. And we were very lucky because she allowed us to take our picture inside like that, and that's not typical. She was very engaging and taught us quite a bit though. And her father had been the priest previous to her current tenure.
Read the new shrine built in the 6th century.
Yeah. One of the oldest. It was a lot there. It was absolutely
Yeah, that's
gorgeous.
pretty amazing.
I think when the gifts arrive, I know Doug and I talked about maybe some of us getting together at the library and doing a more presentation on the gifts that we received and a little bit more about what those gifts mean so people could see them, and pulling some books about Japan, learning Japan etiquette, dropping everything with chopsticks, there's just a lot of different culture. And whenever they asked me, oh, did you have fun or how did you like it? I said, I learned so much. I have had the pleasure to travel quite a bit around the world. And I've never been to Japan. And so I learned so much and I enjoyed myself so much. It was double good. They are incredible hosts, and what an honor to be able to take that diplomatic mission and partake in that. So if you ever get a chance, please go visit, because you will not be upset about that.
I was thrilled to go, and I was very proud to represent the city of Adrian in Moriyama and in Shiga. It was quite an honor. And when you pull up in a bus and there are 20, 30 people standing at every single place you go, waving flags and greeting you, it brings a tear to your eye. It's just so amazing to see those people so totally immersed in the idea of welcoming us, single-handedly just welcoming us to any event that we're doing. And we just, at one of the shrines we were at, just a case in point, most of our dinners were 13 to 15 courses. Most of our lunches were 11 to 12, 13 courses. We went to a shrine. They said, well, we're going to have kind of like a box lunch. Like when we go to one of the churches here locally and the ladies do a lunch, we had 11 courses for that. little box lunch. So it was amazing. Food was amazing. The people are better than that. The people are just wonderful people. Their traditions, their entire way of living their life, and how they function within that culture is just wonderful. Just wonderful.
I know the last night we're all sitting there eating and everybody's talking, and my husband was with me and Burke said, look at this room. And it was just the ultimate joy of them being together. I mean, they gave us some Japanese beer and some sake, and you couldn't let your glass get more empty than this, or they were filling it back up, I'm like, oh. But it just the ultimate joy in serving one another and being together, it was just phenomenal. Yeah, it was amazing.
I was thrilled to be
Extreme joy.
connected with this program for more than 30 years.
Mm.
But I had never been to Japan, but I had always been welcoming the dignitaries from Moriyama here to Adrian and helping entertain them, and it was great to be there and see all my friends that I met through the years and talk to them about many of the friends from many years ago, and it was just really
Special. Always continues and it's been, going for a long time is that I overheard one of the people that was in charge of our Michigan group say to another person on the bus, well, Adrian and Moriyama are a little different. Like they send their account, like they don't just send like residents, like they send their, they will, but they said, because somebody was like, why do they have so many council and like all these people here? And they're like, well, Moriyama reciprocates, and they take this relationship very strongly and very seriously, and they just treat it differently than most of the other cities do. And I even had a woman that's been involved with it, and this was like her 40th time to Japan, because she's been so involved within the Shiga Michigan relationship. And she said, yep, Adrian and Moriyama, you have a very special relationship. Keep it going. Like, it's amazing. We wish everybody was like that. And I mean, honestly, Moriyama, we were there, and Mayor Morinaka, he's like, I'm gonna be in Adrian next year. We are coming, and I'm coming. I mean,
You said it just like that.
he did. Yes.
No, I ran my translator on the phone. Couldn't eat you up.
But yeah, so that's really special and really nice to see. And I mean, it was an experience of a lifetime, but also just to see how other cities work. And like, we spent a lot of time in City Hall, and their City Hall, it's very different. They're trying something new though. Since they built the new City Hall, they are letting you work wherever you want, because they have it set up that your phone can carry, because basically you all have like a city cell phone now, so you can like move in the building, and they have almost like these workstations that feel like a college, like library kind of
thing.
Yeah. So you'll see them spread out wherever, and they can still take city calls because their city phone number will come through to that. But some are sitting like almost in a couch area, some are sitting at a table with other people that aren't even in their department, and just very different. But they said they couldn't do this before. They didn't have the building for that, but since it's a brand new building, and that building was actually designed by the same person that designed the Tokyo Olympics buildings. So it had that same look, you could tell, but it was just interesting. And their city chambers are inside their city hall, and the public can't come to there. I mean, they were telling us all the differences. We were like, what? Because we're like, where's your public sit? And they're like, oh no, that's just press. They can't say anything. Nobody can say anything. Public can come, but they can't say anything. And just very different. So it was interesting to see how their government worked. Very enlightening.
It sounds like they had a really advanced Wi-Fi system within their city hall then.
Hmm?
What about the rest of Montreal?
No Wi-Fi anymore.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
You
Yeah.
have to buy Wi-Fi, like they have things that you can connect to your phone, things like, so that you can take Wi-Fi with you anywhere, but it was very difficult to get Wi-Fi, so I was kind of waiting until I got home to my host family to do anything, because we had no, I mean, it was nice, I didn't have a phone. Right.
Yeah. And I stayed in a very traditional home,
you
like
could
we
stay
ate on the
immersed.
floor every night,
Mhm.
like, I mean, I stayed extremely, there was a family alternate, I was staying they're older, I stayed in a very traditional home, so I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Really?
Yes, but I don't know if that's just because they didn't want it, I don't know. But yeah.
We had a Wi-Fi at our home so that we could translate. We were using our translate.
Mhm.
That really was a blessing for us.
art was amazing. Everything, they put so much of an artistic touch on everything they do, so. Building City Hall, it was really about how a city hall made into a piece of art for their community. We went to a couple museums there. The Japanese version of FedEx, built a museum in Moriyama, and the whole entire, area, the museum and around the area is a work of art. I don't have Lad's photography skills, so,
Ours don't look like,
You do.
like yours.
it was a little bit rough sometimes, me trying to take some pictures, but,
It was wonderful.
there was a piece in there, a traveling exhibit. And the gentleman, the artist had gone to all foreign countries. It was very moving for me, quite frankly, brought me to tears. Would go to, foreign countries where there had been war and take pictures and then paint them. And some of them were very large, some of them were smaller, and he went had been through World War II and everything. It was a very moving piece, and they were very proud of that. So one of the pictures that they are sending to us is a replica of one of those. And so it was just amazing. Another museum we went through with the whole group, Miho Museum, was created by Dr. Pei, who created the glass enclosure at the beginning of the Louvre. He created that in a museum. And so when you show up to the museum, there's kind of the check-in area, and then you have to walk through a tunnel, and just walking through a dark tunnel, and then you turn and there's the light, and then the museum. Every bit of being there is an experience, if that makes sense. They don't miss a beat on that stuff. Just every moment is an experience to them.
How you approach those buildings,
Mhm.
all planned,
Yeah.
everything is all designed.
Extraordinary.
It's in vast areas of just foliage that has been planned and laid out, and you're walking on suspended bridges and walkways, and
Mhm.
it's just
It was extraordinary.
elegant.
And Moriyama has tripled in size in a very short time, so they have to really plan, is what they said, because they don't have the land, like they're running out of, I mean, they're very limited, so they're very thoughtful with everything they do, because they have to, because they're trying to fit a larger population now in a small area.
So are they building up?
There's more, there's more high rises than there used to be. Mayor Morinaka actually only lives 2 blocks away and walks to work, and he lives in a high rise that is newer.
My host family is a 15-minute drive from the center of town, and we pass. The crop of choice, of course, is rice. There's rice everywhere, but there's also soybeans. They're about 2 weeks behind us. The soybeans are just starting to turn, trees are just starting to turn, and we knew that we had left, they're kind of like a North Carolina kind of place. So they were in their 60s and 70s temperature wise. So it was,
So they're very excited to come next summer or whenever it happens. They don't know when they're coming, but they haven't been given a date from between Shiga and Michigan, but yes, they are very much looking forward to it. They've already been saying that, so.
I'm hoping that the community can step up again and host some of these visitors
Yeah, you
again,
won't be
like they always
sorry. It's
do.
an amazing experience
Have a
for
great
sure.
time.
Thank you, Mayor. We got a few minutes before I think we need to do public comment. I want to just check in on an issue. Has some immediacy, but I don't want to necessarily say why. We talked a while back about allowing food trucks in the perimeter of our downtown parking lots, and we haven't moved forward with amending that resolution. But as I recall, everybody was kind of on board with that, knowing that the ordinance will still apply, and so they can't be within 100 feet of a brick and mortar restaurant. Is that true still? If we bring that back, is everybody still okay with that?
I am.
It provides the potential for more utilization of food truck program and vibrancy that comes along with it, so. You know, still good with it, we'll probably bring that back in the future. All right, well, with that, Mayor, I don't have anything else, for the general public comment.
All right, at this time, we will open it up to public comment. We will start inside the chambers first, just to reiterate, there's a 3-minute time limit, and for the record, please state your name and address. When we have exhausted all public comment inside the chambers, we will open it up to the Zoom participants.
Fairness, they had a issue not too long ago, a wide loader. Over there by Crossing Boy Roundabout was stuck. And that's why there should be no roundabout in a small city. A bigger city, yes. Like Tecumseh and Adrian, no. And another thing would be is these weird old sidewalks. If you're gonna do a sidewalk, don't make a maze, make a straight. People are tired of going through like a maze of a sidewalk to get to point A to point B. And also about the runabout, it delays the emergency response team to get to a emergency call. So that's why it's also a hazard, because it slows down the response team. And the traffic lights, they should work at the same time, not like North Main by the courthouse. It should be they should all go at the same time, not stop, you go. No, all at the same time. And the signal, traffic signal, court people don't go all the way around just to get to their workplace. So they should be allowed, because some of them take North Main, they should be allowed to turn left to get to the court so they can start their regular business. And it also delays it from the school buses, because talk about the roundabout, several hazards about that. But the school zone limit, it shouldn't be 25 or 20. Those are kids. Every time I walk into ride my bike through town, they got people going 25 or 10 over through an active school zone, which is definitely a hazard. It should be something against that. No kid should be in danger. Life should be in danger when somebody going 20 or 25. It should be 15 or 10 miles an hour through a school zone, not 20 or up.
Hearing no more public comment inside the chambers, we will now open it up to Zoom participants.
Ken Tokars, 110 South Locust. Later tonight, we're going to hear biased comments from commissioners as they attempt to glorify Commissioners Helt and Strayer on their last day as city commissioners. The truth is that the city is actually in far worse condition, and comments you hear today should be taken with a grain of salt. Blight and the hiring of a second code enforcement officer will be one of those accomplishments. The truth is that the first officer was not doing their job, and the fix was to hire a second. The pension deficit increased by $4 million with Helt and Strayer on the commission. We lost Bixby Hospital to the township, and to make matters worse, the city never entered into a signed agreement to demolish the old building. Despite telling people that they treat city money like their own, the city purchased a hotel for $800,000 and to this day refuses to share the actual costs, which I estimate to be around $1.2 million. Strayer and Helt approved an energy conservation project that was mismanaged by the city, and instead of saving money will cost money. I think of Alan and Ladd every Monday night when I take out the trash, or annually when I receive that $356 bill. Helton Strayer purchased the property for $1 recently and did not take into the count that it would cost $800,000. Let's not forget about their failed point of sale ordinance. Let's not forget about Bone Pool and their failure to budget for a new heater, or their claims of a leak when they actually forgot to shut one of the valves. The only praises you will hear tonight are from people connected to the DDA who have prospered under their tenure. Free streetlights, free garbage enclosures, $70,000 in building repairs, free curb and gutter, free street resurfacing, free parking lot updates, free farm building updates, free holiday decorations, all tax dollars that could have been used to improve other parts of the city. Congratulations, Lad and Allen, on a great job.
Don Taylor, 475 Meadowbrook Drive, Adrian. Nice to see you all again. I've been absent without leave for the last few weeks. I want to, as a child of World War II, I want to thank you for the whole marijuana, excuse me, not marijuana, Moriyama issue. Well, maybe marijuana as well. But so, in a world so troubled as we're experiencing right now, this is a perfect example of how two mortal enemies can come together after a horrific war and have a respectful relationship. I'm so proud of our city for doing this. I'm so proud of Moriyama for doing it. And I do want one comment. In one of the pictures, I must say that there were some really pretty cool socks with one of our commissioners, and I'll let you figure out who that was in the picture. But thank you so much for continuing that relationship in a world so troubled. It's so refreshing. Thank you.
Hearing no more public comment, may I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Or,
All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Meeting is adjourned. We will begin the meeting out in the chambers at 7:05 to give people enough time to use the restroom if they need to. I call to order the Adrian City Commission meeting for November 6, 2023. If everyone would please rise for a moment of silence in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Roll call, please. Mayor Heath, present. Commissioner Halt,
Present.
Commissioner Roberts, not present. Commissioner Miller,
Present.
Commissioner Strayer,
Present.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Present.
Commissioner Gauss,
Present.
all commission members present with the exception of Commissioner Roberts. May I get a motion to excuse Commissioner Roberts?
Movie.
I just like to say, in times of loss, it's just shared responsibility as a community to extend our empathy, support, and encouragement to our grieving friends, family, and colleagues. Tonight, Commissioner Roberts is at home with her family on their farm and with her siblings, grieving the loss of her mother, and certainly celebrating what an amazing woman she is. I know that she would definitely be here tonight if she could be. Her mother raised 10 children. And so if you get a moment tonight, please say some prayers, send some good vibes and take a minute to think about Commissioner Roberts, as she moves through this immense loss. And I'd like to second Commissioner Helt's motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Halt with a second from Commissioner Castleberry. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss.
Yes.
Motion is approved with unanimous vote.
Moving on, we have a discussion regarding purchase of real property.
Mayor, I'd like to ask the commission to go into closed session for this discussion.
May I get a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Miller with a second from Commissioner Castleberry. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath.
Yes.
Motion to begin closed session approved by unanimous vote.
We will vote to come out of closed session and we will come back out here and do the rest of the agenda when we come out here. So just please stay tight. It shouldn't take us too long and sit tight and we'll be back. Thank you.
For those of you on Zoom, you'll be removed to the waiting room. Once the commission returns to open session, you'll be released back into the main room.
To amend the agenda to add a proclamation for Commissioner Ladd Strayer.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Halt with a second from Commissioner Miller. Roll call, please.
Okay. Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Halt.
Yes.
Motion approved with unanimous vote.
All right, would all the city commission like to stand up and present this to Ladd up here in the front? Since it's from the city commission, please.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ladd Strayer is this will be his last meeting. He is not seeking reelection and he is going into retirement. He was already retired, but now he's retired from us. So this is a proclamation from the city commission. Whereas Ladd Strayer was elected to the Adrian City Commission in November of 2015, and whereas after a 4-year term, Ladd was reelected in 2019. And whereas Ladd's commitment to the Adrian community extends far beyond his terms on the city commission, with his passion for photography, community involvement, and former role in the news media. And whereas during his time on the commission, city staffing and services were restored to levels not seen since the Great Recession. And whereas Ladd has always been the people's commissioner, always willing to listen and learn, now therefore the City Commission of the City of Adrian, Michigan, do hereby honor Commissioner Ladd Strayer and thank him for his time on the Adrian City Commission and his commitment to our community. Can everybody, let's give a big hand to Commissioner Strayer.
Thank you.
He's going to speak during commissioner comments, so he said he won't say it a second time right now. You can wait. So, yes. All right. Okay. Thank you. May I get a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Or
I have a motion from Commissioner Miller with a second from Commissioner Castleberry. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Motion approved with unanimous vote.
Moving on to special orders. Special Order -1 is a public hearing to hear and consider comments regarding the downtown parking special assessment district. At this time, we now call the public hearing to order. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter may do so either at the podium or via Zoom at this time.
Ken Tokars, 110 South Locust. When the commissioners took the oath of their office, they took an oath to look out for all people in the city of Adrian. And the problem I have with these special assessment districts is that they unfairly charge residents who are not in DDA properties for things that the DDA does not get charged for. If you were a commissioner that sold donuts, you would know what the cost of those donuts were and what your profit was on each donut. The same thing goes for the special assessment districts. You should know what your costs are. And if you look historically, your costs have not changed when we know that, yes, your costs have gone up. The special assessment district does not include free light poles that we don't get in other parts of the city. The special assessment district does not include the $40,000 in land that you're going to buy for the DDA for parking spots. If the DDA wants more land for parking spots, then the DDA should be picking up part of that land purchase. I did try to speak with Mr. Elliott about creating a special assessment district or a TIF for East Adrian. And I was told no, that we couldn't increase the value of those properties. But you're not increasing the value of DDA properties because in 2020 you had to re-up it for another 5 years because you weren't making any money or the property values weren't increasing. So it does not work. Please do not vote for this. Add money on if you do, and do something for East Adrian residents. Thank you.
Hearing no more comment, I now call this public hearing closed. Moving on to ordinance number 23-008. It is a second reading and consideration of amendments to Chapter 38 of the Adrian City Code, Human Rights, Article 2 and 3, Human Relations Commission and Discrimination Prohibited. May I get a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any public comments related to this topic?
Yeah, just one quick one.
Please state your name.
Oh,
and address.
okay. Ernest T. Well, okay, everybody know my last name. Ernest Thomas, City of Adrian. State of Michigan, United States citizen. Born and raised. Anyway, once again, it should be a disgrace due to, hold on. Oh yeah, it should be passed that discrimination should be prohibited because we're all human, we all bleed red, nobody's perfect, nobody's greater than anybody. Because each one of y'all been to the break of dawn, meaning to the mud, to the pit. So nobody's perfect. So yeah, it should be prohibited. And that is part of discrimination. Judge somebody based upon their past. Well, guess what? Their past should not dictate their future. Y'all cannot dictate their future. Let their present dictate their future. And by the way, tomorrow is the future. Because guess what? Tomorrow's not promised and it's not guaranteed. That's why they say is live for today, hope for tomorrow. Because guess what? Tomorrow is the future. One day at a time. That's all I say.
Hearing no more public comment, are there any commissioner comments? We have a motion from Commissioner Gauss with a second from Commissioner Halt. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer.
Yes.
Motion approved by unanimous vote.
Moving on to the regular agenda, Resolution R23-033 is from the assessor. It is a resolution to approve the downtown parking special assessment district. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
Move adopt the resolution?
Support.
Are there any public comments on this resolution? Are there any commissioner comments on this resolution? We have a motion from Commissioner Halt with a second from Commissioner Castleberry. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry.
Yes.
Resolution adopted with unanimous vote.
Resolution R23-034 is from administration. It is a resolution to approve an agreement for the purchase of software for processing records requests. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Support.
Are there any public comments related to this resolution? Any commissioner comments? We have a motion from Commissioner Miller with a second from Commissioner Castleberry. Roll call, please.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, unanimous vote.
Resolution R23-035 is from administration. It is a resolution to approve the purchase of property on Church Street. May I get a motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Support.
Are there any public comments related to this resolution? Are there any commissioner comments related to this resolution? We have a motion from Commissioner Castleberry with a second from Commissioner Miller and Commissioner Strayer. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Halt,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Strayer,
Yes.
Commissioner Castleberry,
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss,
Yes.
Mayor Heath.
Yes.
Resolution adopted, unanimous vote.
Now it is time for public comment. Just to reiterate, there's a 3-minute time limit. And for the record, please state your name and address. We will begin inside the city chambers first. And when we have exhausted all public comment inside the chambers, we will then open it up to our Zoom participants.
Good evening, Gail Dunaway, Adrian, Michigan. My concern, I talked with Commissioner Castleberry a little bit after you broke from the previous meeting. And my concern is my 3-block area from my house, abandoned, condemned properties and how they're being secured because they are not. Yesterday, I'm walking my dog about 4 o'clock. 616 East Chestnut Street, I heard a dog barking. This house has had a big condemned sign on it for over a year. Nobody is supposed to be living in there, but there was a very large dog in the house. So I called animal control. Somebody came out and checked on it and left me a message. Deputy Castleberry, and I thank him very much. He would check on who owns it. It's actually the land bank. And we need to really get a grip on these houses. This is just one of many. And there is money out there Trust me, it's in the land bank. I was at the county commission meeting. There is money out there to take care of these houses, whether demolished or updated, but something has to be done. Thank you very much.
Tom Fallhaber, 419 Budlong Street. Some of you that know me when I was a city commissioner and way before that, I've been actively involved for 45 years, getting better highways in Adrian. I've long recognized that better highways and better traffic control systems are very important to enhancing and improving the business climate and the potential for increased economic betterment of the city. I'm working on a project right now as a lay individual, trying to get a 3-phase turning signal at US 223 and Division Street. Should have been done 10, 15 years ago. We're still fighting. I called the lady up in Lansing that's in charge of this. They're going to do another study now. The previous study, they had inconsistencies, which they would not tell me what they were. And those studies cost between $20,000 and $30,000 is my understanding. We're on our third study of an intersection that obviously needs a upgrade in the signal system there. It's terrible. We all know that we live here. We have 3 big box stores in close proximity to that intersection. This is what's wrong with this state and the Michigan Department of Transportation. They are so bogged down with bureaucracy. They don't get things done. And that's why we pay the 10th highest gas tax in any state in America. And we got some of the worst roads. And it just, if any of you get a chance, I've talked to Mac Tomaseski. He's been trying to get something done. If any of you would like to talk to them up there, he's got the phone number. And to talk to these people, it's a shame you got to go through so much to get something so simple accomplished. But in this state, that's what you have to do to get things done. So I just thought I'd let you know I'm nothing for me. I am running for office. I guess I'm trying to make myself look good, but I'm telling you the truth. I would be doing this no matter what. I've been doing this off and on for 6 or 7 years. So I'm just want you to know that we just need a little push. You got to push these people to get anything done. If any of you want to call them and it would be great. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Terry Collins, 11 Scott Court, Adrian, and I said I wasn't going to do this, but I will. I will make it brief. I have known Lad Strayer for many, many years. Knew him initially as a police officer for the city. Worked with him at various occasions. Again, knew him as the police chief for the city. The Lad was always very accommodating that if he had photographs, and I would say, Lad, for investigative purposes, could you kind of hold on to that for a couple of days? Absolutely not a problem. But even more so, I know Lad as a commissioner. I am a county commissioner, so I know from whence he comes with several of the problems. Lad has always had the heart and the soul of the city in mind when he does anything. It is easy to armchair quarterback about what a commissioner can and cannot do. I often refer to the Monday morning quarterbacks who talk about why this play was done, why that play wasn't done. Put the stripes on and find out. I did that for 33 years. But as a commissioner, I understand from whence he comes. I understand his heart and soul is both with and for the city of Adrian. This commission will be a poorer entity without Lad being there. And I want to personally thank you.
Ernest Thomas, once again, City of Adrian, citizen, United States citizens as well. Also, what's been going on throughout America is gun violence and school shootings. And there's only one officer for the whole Adrian school district. And I mean, criminals, they're smart. So why aren't there more than one officer, school officer for the whole Adrian district schools? Because if he's at one and the shooter's at another, guess what? Those students and teachers are gone. And also, I want to talk about that because I've been hearing that across the news throughout America, and it finally hit base for one part of Michigan that a school shooting has broken out in a certain part of Michigan. And that's very concerning to me because parents, they might not want to talk about it, but they're scared in their heart when they let their kids go to school and not knowing if they're going to come home. Why? Because they watch the news about other school shootings. So yeah, I'll be worried too. Well, I don't got kids, but I'll be worried too if I was in their shoe. Because you got one school officer for the whole Adrian district. And also, about the vacant houses, yes, they need to do something about it. It's ridiculous. If they don't want to do nothing about it, stop wasting taxpayer dollars and just letting it sit there. Like the mall, the Adrian Mall. Well, Adrian bound. They should do something about the Adrian bound mall instead of just letting it sit there. There's some like questions on Facebook. What are they gonna do about Adrian Mall? Do something about it. Stop letting it be vacant. Turn it into something. And not it's just letting it sit there, taking up space. That's the commissioners and mayors and whatnot job, to come up with ideas and not let vacant property just sit there. They got people that want to go in the field of, fixing things up. Let them do it. Stop wasting taxpayer dollars. That is a ground of corruption. And there need to be more officers, school officers in every school throughout Adrian district and other districts. I approve this message.
Hearing no more public comment inside the chambers, is there any public comment from Zoom participants? If so, you will see the time on your screen, and please state your name and address as well. Hearing no public comment, are there any commissioner comments? Commissioner Helt?
I'll be brief. I didn't prepare any comments, but I had the pleasure to serve with Lad Strayer. We'll call us the class of 2015. I've known Lad for 25 years, but only 8 as a friend. He, his daughter Jenny and I were friends growing up, and I always knew Lad as Jenny's dad, until we ran together in 2015. So as we're running for office, or as I was running for office, because I declared early, I'll never forget this, is that when you're a candidate running for office, people that are really well respected in town and community pillars and just have been around, right? And so one morning, I already declared for office in 2015. I'm looking on Facebook and I see, I'll never forget the picture that out of nowhere, it was Lad throwing a hat. It was black and white. He said, "I'm throwing my hat in the ring." And so me as a candidate, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, there's 1 seat gone. And so now we're all fighting for 2 seats. And so I'm just so proud to call him a friend. No matter what people on Zoom say, I can go on and on about our accomplishments, but Lad has always been there for me, especially my earlier days when I was a little bit more, direct per se. He'd always calm me down and stuff. So I always appreciated that friendship with him. I'm going to miss him on the commission, just the way he's soothing and calm, and when I get going a million miles, he likes to slow me down, which I appreciate. So I'm still going to use him as a resource if I'm fortunate enough to be here after tomorrow too, but I appreciate his friendship and I wish him nothing but the best in the future. Thank you.
Mayor.
Commissioner Castleberry?
I too, today, we bid farewell to a remarkable individual who has dedicated their time and energy and passion to serving our community. As Strayer embarks on a new chapter in life, on something possibly involving photography or baseball, probably, I hope we can all come together to express our heartfelt well wishes and gratitude for his tireless commitment to making our city a better place. Commissioner Strayer has been a friend, a mentor, and a cheerleader for me, and always leads by example. as I have traversed my time sitting next to him at the dais. He may or may not have kicked me a couple times. He is grounded in what is best for all and shares an unwavering dedication for the greater good, whether it be municipal government and now probably more photography, art, or baseball. Commissioner Strayer is an asset to our city. I will miss him, his guidance, and his thoughts, so please don't be a stranger. And I also want to say, Saturday is Veterans Day. As a veteran myself, it's an important day for all of us veterans to get together and reminisce, rekindle, and things like that. I mentioned earlier about the arts that I saw in Japan that very much moved me. And not all of us have had an easy life or had an easy enlistment. And so if you get a chance, please get out and thank a veteran this weekend. Saturday is Veterans Day. Do something, even if you don't thank them, just do something great for your community, and that would be thanks enough.
Commissioner Strayer?
Well, tonight being my last meeting, I wanted to thank everyone who voted for me in 2015 and 2019. And for those of you who didn't vote for me, thanks for putting up with me. I always tried to use my vote to represent everyone fairly. When I ran for commission in 2015, former Commissioner and Mayor Chuck Jacobson told me one commissioner alone can't do anything. You'll be judged by the commissions that you serve on. I feel fortunate to have worked with several good commissioners and 3 good administrators. But it's important to me to give a shout out to Commissioner Helt. Being able to bounce ideas off each other and to be truthful and direct with each other, even when we didn't agree, was very beneficial to me over the years. I always felt like we were on the same team, and I really value your friendship. Moving on, I want to say that our budget is in a much better place today than it was 8 years ago. One reason for that is we had the foresight to allow medical and recreational marijuana businesses in Adrian. These new businesses put much needed money in our general fund, as well as help to clean up blighted properties and create hundreds of jobs. I feel as though we've had many successes over the last 8 years, but regardless of the policies we set forth, they're nothing without staff to implement them. And I'm very proud to say we have a great staff, whether it be inside City Hall or outside City Hall, with our police and fire and DPW and the cemetery. So many good people. Over the last 8 years, they have amazed me. It doesn't matter what the situation is, they step up. It doesn't matter if it's department heads or the people who work in those departments. They're always there, and they seem to go the extra mile. The city isn't without issues. We have a housing shortage. We need to continue to fight blight and crime and work to attract new business. But I know we have an administrator and department heads who are up for the task. All that being said, Adrian is in a good place, I feel. We have several good projects that can potentially change the face of Adrian. The South Main Tunnel will be a great addition to the future of the Kiwanis Trail. Work has already started on Park House project, the old Hammerman's building, if you're not familiar. The Croswell expansion will be fabulous. The project on Maiden Lane will be a great addition to downtown. The Riverwalk project and the Winter Street redesign project will change the look of downtown Adrian. But more than anything, I am waiting for the demolition of the old Daily Telegram and the Eagles and the Access to create much needed housing in the city. So in closing, serving was a pleasure and a chore that I'll never forget. And I want to thank everybody who has said nice things about me tonight and who have also stopped me on the street over the course of the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
And with that, may I get a motion to adjourn? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned, and thank you, everyone, and don't forget